Now, Mike Huckabee likes to believe that he has a good sense of humor. That in itself is kind of hilarious, as a lot of right-wingers really don't have much of a good sense of humor. A lot of it relies on basically racist jokes, etc. Now, social media users, however, were also less impressed when he decided to tweet out a joke about D-Day and Germany. Now, this is what he tweeted, quote, "Must have been an awkward moment for Angela Merkel to sit in ceremony as the Allies commemorated D-Day that broke the back of Nazi Germany." What? Where's the joke? I don't see a joke in there. What's awkward about it? Okay, Merkel was born about a decade after D-Day, and today Germany is one of our top allies. What's awkward? I don't understand. Look, and you know why Germany is one of our top allies, by the way? After the war, we did something called the Marshall Plan. So we took resources, we took money, and we invested it into countries that were formerly our enemies. Germany, Japan, and a lot of countries in Europe that were devastated by the war. We did that. Now, of course, at the time after the war, Germany was divided into East and West Germany. So we poured a lot of resources and we helped rebuild West Germany, right? And I guess we helped rebuild Europe. Now, nothing like that, by the way, I don't think has ever happened before in the history of the world. And that's why I think up until Bush, especially Trump, the United States was considered leaders of the free world because of something amazing like that. And I would love to see a Marshall-type plan be used for climate change. That said, thanks to Republicans that are now isolationist and nationalist, we're no longer fit to be in this role. That said, his joke, right? Now, again, why would it be awkward for Merkel? I mean, the Allies, again, saved Europe and the world from fascism. Why would it be awkward for her? I don't know. I don't see any humor in that, and neither apparently did anyone else, especially considering how now liberal Germany actually is, which is the opposite of Nazism and fascism. Now, and I use liberal, of course, in the American context, which is understandably right-wing compared to the rest of the world. So let me just be transparent about that and put that into context. Now, let me read you some tweets here. Jay Relling says, Huckabee and his kind, he said, how blind to oneself can the elected leader of a former slave state, Arkansas, be to get snarky about someone else being the elected leader of a former fascist nation? Huckabee and his kind can just cannot see themselves when they look into a mirror. Now, of course, what they see in the mirror, I would guess, is some sort of hero, an American patriot. But apparently that does not seem to be the reality. In reality, what a lot of people see in the mirror, I think, is someone who is deeply racist and isolationist. Now, Holly said it must be awkward, be an awkward moment for Southerners to sit in ceremony as the nation commemorates July 4th. The celebration of the nation they tried to secede from. That right there, devastating. That is a devastating point and an excellent tweet. Michael Marshall Smith said, yeah, and the Queen was sitting there still in a snit about the American War of Independence. God, you're stupid. And so ignorant of Europe. And so unfunny. Oh. Gets better. Sharon Gibson says, Angela Merkel was never a Nazi, never a Nazi sympathizer, and she never called neo-Nazis very fine people. So why would she feel awkward? Again, great question. Mark Zaguire says, no, it wouldn't be awkward because Germans like Merkel have worked very hard to face and reject Germany's Nazi past and support liberal democratic values. You could learn a lot from Merkel if you were capable of doing so. Roland Scahill says, this is just a highly inappropriate tweet. David John Fuller says, the Germans have reckoned with their Nazi history, and it's an ongoing process. How is the United States coming along with reckoning with slavery, Jim Crow, stolen land? Again, that's a really good question. And on that, I don't think that we're doing very well. I mean, you look at the amount of racism today confined in the one specific political party. Instances of white people calling the cops on black people for basically doing nothing but living and doing normal things. The amount of voter suppression that we have in the South. We're not doing very good. We're kind of doing pretty crappy. Now, more tweets here. Great Scott says, Merkel isn't the one associated with Nazis, Mike. There are very fine people on both sides. Again, when your rhetoric resonates with neo-Nazis, that's generally a bad thing. Lizard says, it's almost as awkward as wishing the Japanese Prime Minister a happy Memorial Day. Wouldn't you say? Ouch. Binman said, it must be awkward being this stupid. Well, for him, probably not, because he's used to it. But I might even go with tone deaf instead of stupid. Nonetheless, doesn't surprise me at all if he doesn't even notice it or realize it. Those who are dumb often don't realize that they're dumb. It's weird. Sarah Parsec finally with the best tweet. Must be awkward for you to be owned every time you tweet. Now, then again, I think that would involve having some sense of self-awareness, which I can assure you, people like Mike Huckabee often do not. Hey guys, hopefully you enjoyed that free video. Now I'm going to have to ask you a favor. Between the demonetization and the YouTube algorithm messing around with view counts, etc., we're having a hard time adjusting to the new YouTube reality, which is where you guys come in. See, we have a Patreon, patreon.com/TYTNation, set up to help us rely on you guys, the viewers, instead of big corporate ads. Look, you know the show. You know I'm not in favor of big corporations anyway. So help us transition away from relying on the ad model to pay the bills and sign up to be a patron, patreon.com/TYTNation. That goes a long way to help us keep the lights on. And you guys will know that you're supporting independent progressive media.